Hey internet, it's been a minute since I made a video, but I have since upgraded my setup, so I should look and sound better. Let me know if it does or if it just sounds the same. But I wanted to make a video talking about this amazing event I went to yesterday over at the Bitcoin Commons here in Austin called Bitcoin Takeover 2024. It's this really cool thing that the Commons, Parker Lewis, the guys over at Unchained, they put on for South by Southwest. South by Southwest is a annual festival of film and business and education, and they actually do have a crypto and blockchain track, but unfortunately they don't have a Bitcoin track. So they take it into their own hands to put on this Bitcoin takeover. It was 11 founders and CEOs of all kinds of amazing Bitcoin companies that came and gave roughly 30-minute presentations throughout the day. And I just want to make a recap for those that were not able to attend. I did meet a lot of people yesterday that flew in from all around the country to attend. It was that valuable. So let's see. I have some notes here, so I'll be reading off the notes. Parker started off the day basically reading a quote from Thomas Jefferson and discussing the perils of giving the federal government the ability to print money. So I want to read that quote here. Thomas Jefferson said, "If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless in the continent their fathers conquered. I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. The issuing power should be taken from the banks and restored to the people, to whom it properly belongs." Sorry for my Freudian slip adding far into there, but we started off the day with that and then quickly moved on to Matt Snow, who he's over at Trammell Ventures, and he performed the Star Spangled Banner on the electric guitar. So imagine a room full of Bitcoiners and an electric guitar Star Spangled Banner was pretty cool. And then Marty Bent came on. Marty is over at TFTC. If you don't listen to TFTC podcast, you probably should, but it's a Bitcoin-centric media company, and he talked about the importance of having censorship-resistant media and how Bitcoin can help enable that. He and TFTC, they were recently put on a list. I think it was like the hate watch list or something like that, internet hate watch list. He talked about that and just, what we can do to make sure that we have an uncensorable media and how Bitcoin helps that. And then next we had Lisa from Base 58. Base 58 is a really cool Bitcoin education company. Kind of, I guess the closest thing that I can think of is like Khan Academy, just helping teach people about Bitcoin, how Bitcoin works. She said that in the future she wants to have programming classes and all sorts of general purpose engineering classes, mostly focused on Bitcoin. But that was really cool, and just to hear their success, to hear how many students are going through and learning about Bitcoin, and then creating endeavors of their own. There was a few really interesting examples of students that have gone through Base 58. So check out Lisa and what they're doing over at Base 58. And then we had Steve Lee from Spiral come on. So if you're not familiar with Spiral is the company under the Block Square umbrella that funds open source Bitcoin development. And they funded over $10 million in grants since they've been founded, which was relatively recently. And they're a really awesome contributor to Bitcoin. They fund all kinds of development. I'm not even going to start listing the founders and companies that they've helped out with, but they really are a important institution in Bitcoin, and it was really cool to hear from Steve and everything going on at Spiral. After that, we heard from Grant, the founder of 1031 Ventures, which is basically the #1 venture capital company in Bitcoin. They don't like to be called a venture capital company. They'd rather be called an investment platform because, we don't really like venture capital around here, Bitcoiners, because that usually, that's when you're starting to think about the A16Zs and the FTXs and all that of the world. But either way, 1031, they're basically invested in every single cool Bitcoin company. They invested in Unchained, Strike, Zaprite. It's like the list of companies is really amazing, and what they're doing and believing in Bitcoin when so many other funds, there's hundreds of crypto funds, and the amount of Bitcoin funds there are, you can almost list on one or two hands. So that was really cool to see 1031. Also, I don't know why I never Googled this, because I am the one who got the degree in finance and even had an internship in real estate. But 1031, their name obviously has nothing to do with real estate, like the 1031 exchange. It's actually the day that they announced Bitcoin. So October 31st. I don't know why I never realized that until yesterday. But that was cool to hear from Grant. And then we had Joe Kelly, one of the co-founders of Unchained. If you're not familiar, Unchained is a really cool platform where they help you secure your Bitcoin using multi-sig custody solution, where you can hold 2 coins and they can hold 1, or you can even have them hold 2 and you hold 1 if you really don't trust yourself. They have a trading desk. They have all kinds of. They have an IRA. They have what else? Bitcoin-backed loans. So just in general, a Bitcoin financial services company. And hearing from Joe and just hear his vision for Unchained, the goals that he has, was really cool and really interesting to hear. They really want to move into insurance. They think is the next big thing for them. And then we heard from John at Zaprite. Zaprite is a payments company ran by a bunch of former Unchained people, Parker Lewis, John, and Will Cole as well. They are making huge strides towards being this basically neutral payments company that you can plug any custodial or self-custodial or even fiat payment rail into and accept Bitcoin payments. I think he had mentioned that over 80% of the payments that they're seeing, even though they have all 3 of those options, I think it was 80% are in Bitcoin and not in fiat, and I think of the Bitcoin, it was 50-50 Lightning and on-chain Bitcoin. So that was really cool to hear the people over at Zaprite. And, I think a lot of sentiment right now, especially since the Michael Saylor interview on CNBC, wherever it was, he's talking about how Bitcoin is not meant for payments, it's meant for digital property. I don't agree with that. I think Bitcoin is digital property, and right now it is not used for payments, but we need to build the companies like Zaprite in order to enable that. And then, I don't want that to be the narrative at all. And I think everyone at the event yesterday agreed with that. Let's see, we had some lunch, and then after that we heard from Justin Moon of Fedi. And if you're not familiar with Fedi, it's almost even difficult to describe, but it's basically, you can create federations where you get a group of, let's say you and your significant other, maybe your parents, your friends, and you can create these Bitcoin federations, basically, multi-sig products, and there's a chat feature. The last time I heard of Fedi, I haven't looked into it in probably a year or so, but the developments since since that 1 year have been really, really astonishing, and they're doing some really cool work over at Fetty. And then we heard from Tony at Mutiny Wallet. Tony went up with no slides, which was just, I loved it. He had been spending a lot of time traveling and didn't have time to make slides. And he went on this really nice monologue, just talking about the importance of holding your Bitcoin in self-custody. And if we're creating all of these payment companies that are basically just Venmo 2.0, then we're not doing it right, and how much we should really still focus on self-custody. After that, we shifted into mining talk, and we heard from Matt, the co-founder and CEO at Giga Energy. He's a Texas A&M guy. He started the company at 22 years old, I believe, and they're basically these shipping container pods of for Bitcoin mining. It's really cool. They're off grid, and it was just really cool to hear the developments happening there and how quickly they're growing. They have offices and operations all around the world, and he said that his goal was to get it so that he could ship a container, ship a project, get it online within 2 weeks, that would be really amazing if investors could invest in Bitcoin mining projects and get them online in 2 weeks. That would be pretty amazing, and they're not far from it, by the way. And then we heard from Jamie, the founder and CEO of Cormint, which is a West Texas Bitcoin miner. And I really liked this one because I went to school in West Texas. I went to Texas Tech. So hearing about just all the activity and all of the funding going into these communities in West Texas, taking advantage of the stranded and renewable energy that West Texas is known for, is just really cool. I hope to connect him with some people at Texas Tech and the College of Business after I record this video, actually, to see what we can do to get some more Texas Tech people familiar with Bitcoin mining, because the school is known for having a really robust energy commerce program, but not so much with Bitcoin yet. So hopefully we can get that started, and everything that they're doing over at Cormint is really cool, and connecting with the Texas energy grid and the demand response program was really interesting to hear more about. And then we finished the day with a live rabbit hole recap with Marty Bent, Matt Odell, Parker Lewis, and Will Cole all on a panel on stage, just shooting the shit, talking about how Craig Wright is not Satoshi, and just talking about the day. So I think that should already be posted because it was live when they were recording it. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. After that, did a little bit of networking, met some really cool people. But yeah, so I don't know how long I've been recording for, but that is the overview, the recap of the 2024 Bitcoin Takeover. It was awesome. It was just probably one of the most memorable days of my Bitcoin journey. And you know, I've been in the space since 2017 passively. It wasn't until 2020, 2021 when I really started to get on Twitter and get active. And then it wasn't until 2023 when I moved back to Austin and started getting involved with the Bitcoin Commons. And I know there's the Bitcoin Park over in Nashville. I know David Bailey is attending BitDevs in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and there's all kinds of events across the country that I really encourage you to get out there, go meet some Bitcoiners in person, because as much as X spaces are cool, they aren't the greatest place for productive discussion all of the time, especially when you've got BSV nerds and whatnot coming on stage to chill BSV. They're not at your local Bitcoin meetup. I guarantee it. So yeah, I think that's all I got. If you made it to the end of this video, I'm not going to put this anywhere in text, but if you made it to the end of this video, shoot me a DM on Twitter, or X. My DMs are open, and I will zap you some Satoshis. I'll zap you some Satoshis if you made it this far. Just send me your Bitcoin wallet. All right. Cheers, guys. See you later.